if everybody watched the thematic song, I hope everybody's just jazzed to hear about jobs about solar installation. So my name is Michael. I'm here with Madison from Namaste Solar, and this is part of our Green Jobs Career Conversations. I don't think we really named this thing yet, but the goal is to really give everybody an opportunity to hopefully watch some of these live and say, I like what I'm hearing, but I want to know more. So I'm going to request everybody that is watching, go into the chat section, ask a question to us so Madison and I have something to talk about. Otherwise, I made a few things on a notepad, but I don't know about you, but it's one thing. We've been chatting now for the last 40 minutes, and you're a very pleasant lady to talk to, but I'd rather have conversations with somebody that is interested in getting into construction, and maybe they want to get into construction in a green tech.
Yeah.
So that's about as much talking as I want to do. So maybe you can tell me, what the heck is Namaste Solar? Tell me about the company and what you guys do.
Yeah, so Namaste Solar has been around since 2005. So we've been, in the Colorado area for quite a while. We were founded in Colorado. We've stayed in Colorado. We are Colorado local. We're also an employee-owned co-op, which is very difficult to find. We are also a certified B Corp, which is amazing as well. Then we're beholden to all of these different criteria to give back to the community, to the environment, making sure our employees are taken care of. We've won the Best for Workers award through B Corp for the last 7 years in a row. So we are certifiably a good place to work.
So not everybody, I'm going to stop you there because not everybody knows what a B Corp is, but it's a way for a company to be required to be a benefit to the community in some way.
Absolutely.
But you said real quickly about an employee-owned company. What do you mean?
Yeah, so that's a great question. That's an umbrella term, and it can be done in a lot of different ways. So the way that we do it is anybody that has worked for Namaste Solar for a minimum of 30 days is eligible to petition for co-ownership of the company. And what that looks like is you would submit basically a letter of interest to HR, and then you would be assigned a mentor for a year, and that mentor is going to teach you how to read spreadsheets and financial documents and everything that goes into running a business and understanding what you're looking at, so you can make decisions based off of that information. And then after that point, after that year, you're able to purchase a share of the company. And our rule is one person, one share, one vote, and that includes our CEO. So when the co-owners are getting together to vote on things and make decisions around the company, everybody in the room has the exact same voting power regardless of their income status.
So we're going to get to the nuts and bolts of a solar install career, but so you're saying after 6 months, I could be a solar installer and be a co-owner in the company?
So 30 days, you could become a candidate within 30 days. And then, 6 months in, you could absolutely be, halfway through your candidacy. And then after that year, you could be a full co-owner of the company.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So we bring those up and I talk more about it because not every day do you see a company that walks what they say, walks the talk. So you guys want to be part of the community and you force yourselves to be by being a B Corp. But not only that, you're also now supporting your team by being employee owners. So I know it sounds like a commercial, and half the time we do these, I'm hearing in my head that I'm just sounding like the fake news where they're talking about, the fake, I don't mean fake news in that term, but the news programs where they're trying to promote companies and people just paid to be there.
Oh yeah.
I say these things because I'm passionate about jobs in construction and really passionate about jobs specifically in solar. Not every company I talk to does so many of those cool things. So that's really great.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you do for Namaste? You obviously have the pitch down. So what is your job here?
Yeah, so I'm the HR recruiting coordinator. So I'm part of our HR team. We're a company of only about, I think we're at about 220 right now. We usually stay between 200 and 250, all local to Colorado. So our HR team is a team of 5. So we're, pretty small, pretty tight knit. That allows us to kind of have that relationship with our employees. And so being the recruiter, I do a lot of interviews, pre-screens for, higher level roles. I attend job fairs. I present at schools. So a lot of outreach efforts, a lot of, educating people on what we do and, what a job with us looks like.
Well, it's a perfect segue into educating our audience about jobs that you have open. So I'm going to put on the screen here once we're done chatting, but There is a link, I put it down the bottom. There is a link at the Namaste's website where you can go and look at the open positions. So with a crew between 200 and 250, depending on hiring or time of year, there is probably always open positions.
Yes.
Okay. So whether you're watching this live or you're watching this 6 months from now, go ahead and go to their website and look for jobs that are open. And the job I want to talk about, though, is the solar installer.
Yeah.
So as being part of Work Now, and if you're not part of Work Now and you're in Colorado and you're looking to get in the construction industry, I recommend reaching out to Work Now and start engaging with them because they can support you. And one of the ways they can support you is Work Now Learn, is an online resource to learn a little bit about solar. So there's a bunch of things in there, but the solar install course, we tried to make a course available for people that is just the basics. So if you're doing a solar installation, you have these magic rectangles that go on a roof and create electricity.
That's how it feels.
And yeah, right. And a lot of that work is the installer. So certainly there's people that design it, they get permitting, you review, you have electricians that have to tie in and convert that DC power that is direct current power that's generated on the roof into alternating current in the house. And those are all career pathways that somebody's been in it for a while. But people can start right away.
Oh, yeah.
And so what would be a process if I were interested in a solar installing career? What would I do?
Yeah, so great question. A lot of companies, have trouble taking people with no experience for solar installation because it is a dangerous job. You're getting up on the roof, you're working with electricity, live electricity. There's a lot that can go wrong there. So we are able to take people with absolutely no experience. You don't have to have experience in construction. You don't have to have experience in electrical or solar. Really, we're looking more for people with, the passion for renewable energy and that energy, within themselves to want to make that change and get that type of work done. People that see value in that. So, we don't require a GED coming in. We don't require prior experience. We can take people with felonies on their records on a case-by-case basis. We are really actively trying to break down those barriers to entry for folks that are looking to get into renewable energy.
Now, a solar installer, most of the stuff we have, now you get, excuse me, allergy season. So let me back up. You guys do residential installation. So that's when someone's house, we see solar typically on the roof.
Sure.
Do you do commercial installations as well?
We do, yeah. So we have a fully fleshed commercial department within our company as well. We always say solar is a team sport. So we have, everything internal. All of our teams, our site auditors, our designers, our project managers, everything is done internally by us, by full-time employees of Namaste Solar.
Okay, so one of the things, and we cover this in the course that we did at Work Now Learn as well, is the fact that these rectangles, typically dark color, so black rectangles on a roof, have to get on a roof.
Yes.
So one of the jobs or the entry position for a solar installer is getting those panels up to the roof.
Yes.
Once they're there, they have to then mount those panels to what's usually called a rack system or they're metal rails and you mount them to that.
Yeah.
And then you're plugging things in.
Yep.
So if I don't have a background in electrical though, am I still fine for what you guys are looking for?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a fully fleshed out training crew internally. We are able to take, folks with no experience and within 3 or 4 weeks of employment with us, get them trained up to, be able to go to their more permanent crew and, have some base level knowledge and experience in installing solar. So we do start people out on the DC side, the direct current side, which is going to be, physically getting the panels up on the roof, planning out where the pilot holes are going to go, getting that racking up there. And then, you would move on to kind of AC work, which is, running that wire down through the house, out to the converter, all of that, electrical work that goes into it as well. One residential install usually takes about 2 days. So one day would typically be spent getting that physical hardware up on the roof. And then the second day would be wiring it up.
Okay. We did have a question that popped up, I saw, talking about a difference of residential to commercial work.
Yeah.
And I know you haven't done field positions
Mhm.
yourself, but can you talk a little bit about the differences?
Oh yeah, there's some major differences with residential and commercial work. So commercial projects are going to be, months long projects, typically on a very large job site. We'll have multiple crews working at a time on that job site. We'll have a drop zone there, so all of the materials are already there, ready to go. Nobody needs to stop at the warehouse. Whereas residential work, our installers meet at the warehouse every morning, load up their vans with their crew. One job typically takes about 2 days. And so it's a much shorter time span. So with our installers working Monday through Thursday, typically one crew will get about 2 jobs done in a week. So very different pacing.
That's a busy. Now you guys work 4 10s here?
Yes.
So that's 4 10-hour days.
Yes.
10 hours working on a roof. Have you heard from your field crew? Is that easy at first? Is it hard at first?
Oh, it's difficult. Yeah, very difficult. I would never paint a picture of this is super easy to do and anybody can do it. No, you have to have that stamina and that, you have to be physically fit enough to be able to climb up on the roof and hold yourself steady and, have your harness on correctly and all of that. It's very exhausting work. And, you could be working in whatever type of weather as well. If it's, as long as it's safe, obviously. We don't want somebody on a roof if it's hailing or, sleet. But, we can work while it's snowing so long as it's not slippery. So, that or hot days. Yeah.
That is a nice thing about Colorado is you can be doing installs in the winter
Yes.
as long as there's no snow or frost or
We
ice
have
on the
plenty of
roof.
work in the winter. We do not slow down too much in the winter at all.
I mentioned it earlier. I was coming to do this live stream about solar.
Mhm.
I think solar, I think about sun.
Mhm.
Today in Colorado is one of the rare days that we're 100% overcast.
Mhm.
And I wore my cruising shirt to try to enjoy all of the sun as we
Mhm.
talk about it. But the point being, in solar installation, there are times where you are moving panels. And these are heavy panels.
Oh, yeah.
You're carrying them up a ladder, typically passing them to somebody else
Mhm.
who then takes it, brings it up onto the roof, and you continue that process,
Mhm.
and then you do all your install.
Yep.
But there are days that it's brutal, it's hot.
Oh, yeah.
But there are a lot of days, in not just Colorado, but in a lot of states, that the weather is fantastic.
Yeah.
Today's a really good day to be doing solar.
Oh, yeah. I'm
because
sure our
it's
crews
not-
are thrilled. It's not
Exactly.
hot. Yeah.
Right. And yesterday was a gorgeous day.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying that because those of you that are listening, don't think that installing solar is just really, really hard because you're on a roof and you're doing physical work. That's not everything. And there are
Mhm.
times where you're transporting panels, you're installing them, you're moving around. I would rather install solar on a roof than shingle a roof.
Yes.
So there are times that it is tough, and we don't want you to think that this is just a cakewalk.
Mhm.
But there are times it's not, and it's really fun
Yeah.
to do. I mean, in fact, we're doing them on my house myself,
Oh, wow. Amazing.
just because why not?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and there's even variation within the residential department on its own. There's retrofit, so we're installing solar on somebody's house that they already live in, and then there's what we call B and C, which is builder new construction, where you see that lot of brand new houses all being built at the same time. We go in, boom, 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 same plan for all of the houses, put solar up on the roof before the walls go in. Another construction company comes in behind us, puts
Right.
walls in, puts all of that house things to finish that house. So B and C is faster than retrofit because
Right.
you're not dealing with as many variables.
That's very true. We had another, excuse me, we had another comment come through, and the beauty of doing these live and having a large audience is we have a comment coming in internationally. I think
wow.
this gentleman or this person,
Mhm.
can't see the name, had posted twice. One that they speak Arabic and how to
Amazing.
communicate. Another one that just came in saying, here, I'm actually going to just put it on the screen. Want to come to the United States and work in the United States. Can you help me? So
Yeah.
do you guys take folks? Obviously, you probably don't, not in a position to do like J1 or whatever the visa programs are.
Right.
But if people are coming here and English is a second language,
Mhm.
do they work well on your crews?
That's something we're actually actively working on. So we don't have a lot in place right now for folks that English is not their first language. But we are currently working on a couple of different things to kind of ease some of that burden on the person, that potential employee. So we're working right now on like translating our employee handbook into Spanish. I am working on a software right now for onboarding that is, I'm not building the software, but working on obtaining a software for onboarding that can be translated into any language, so that, it's easier for that paperwork.
So as long as somebody has conversational English, they could still work on a crew. It
Yes.
doesn't have to be the first language.
No, it doesn't
As
have
long
to
as
be
you can-
perfect. If we can communicate safely
Right.
and make sure that that job is getting done safely and those crews are able to communicate with each other, then totally fine.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Charles, thanks for the comment. Hello, everybody. I love your videos. Here, we're going to, just because we always like compliments.
Yay.
So, Charles, if you have any questions, ask those as well, too. So, in solar, and especially here at Namaste Solar, obviously there are jobs for solar installers. That's the
Yes.
core.
Yes.
Right? If
Always.
somebody's not there to put a solar panel on a roof or a house, no one's got solar.
Nobody's got solar.
But what other positions do you have that are within the solar industry
Mhm.
that you guys hire for?
Yeah, so being an all-encompassing company, doing everything ourselves, things open up and close all the time. So we have, various positions opening and closing. Sometimes it's a design position, which can also be entry level. We'll teach you how to use AutoCAD. We'll, teach you how to read and create these designs for installers to read. Right now, we've got an accounts receivable lead position open. We just had a project manager position open recently. Sales support just closed. So, we've got various positions of different levels opening and closing all the time.
So if I want to be in solar, but I'm not a young man anymore and I didn't want to be on a roof, there are jobs that I probably could go for.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way. I don't really want to be on a roof,
Right.
Not really for me, but I do want to, help out with renewables. And so there's other pathways to get into the industry.
So let's talk a little bit about if I was a young person, and really let me back up, because we're not hiring people only by age.
No.
Or not and no discrimination by
Yeah.
age. Of your crews,
Mhm.
what's the average age that folks are? Are they young people? Are
gosh.
they middle-aged folks? Are they?
There's a very wide range, I would say, amongst our install crews. Very wide range. A lot of diversity amongst, race and gender and sexuality, and it really varies. Some crews we've got folks that are much older, and then some crews, especially like our training crew, will usually have younger folks on there that are just starting out. So there's quite a mix.
So it
I
doesn't
would say.
have to be just a young person's
No,
game.
absolutely
You've
not.
got installers that have gray hair or more hair than I do.
If you feel like you can get up on a roof consistently and not destroy your knees and your back, then
As long as you can do the job.
absolutely.
So if I started as a solar installer
Mhm.
within Namaste Solar, are you you mentioned before you have
Mhm.
training.
Yeah.
So you have a full training team that I could be on if I got a job here as an installer?
Yeah, so we have a fully fleshed out training crew that we've created ourselves internally. It consists of 2 crew leads, whereas normally you would have 1 crew lead on a crew. And then we've got up to 4 new people on that crew at any given time, and they're getting trained up on start to finish solar installation. So they don't have to know anything coming in to be able to be, fully usable on a crew about a month in.
So I want to touch on what you just said. So you have 1 lead, you have 2 leads on the training crew versus 1.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that's just so there's somebody there to give more instruction, more help.
More of that one-on-one help and observation. They can move at kind of a slower pace in order to kind of get that training in. Whereas on, your average crew, you're go, 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 get the job done. So they're not going to want to slow down and train as much as our training crew is, able to.
On the concept of training, so within solar, you've got people that are installing the panels and doing the mechanical work, for lack of better terms. But a lot of it is electrical, since it's solar power.
Yes.
Are you do you work with apprentice programming? Can I become an electrician this way?
Yeah, so this is a great way to become an electrician. So it is a full electrical apprenticeship, and I always say that apprenticeship is, what you want to make of it. Some people do a year of install and say, this isn't for me. Maybe I want to move to design or sales. Some people do 2 years on the residential side, get their RW license, residential wireman's license, and then, become a crew lead and say, that's where I want to be. Some people go all the way to their journey person's license and say, okay, that's where I want to be. We have master electricians here at the company as well. Our CEO is a master electrician. So, it's a full electrical apprenticeship as far as you want to take that. We cover IEC tuition 100% for all of our installers throughout the entirety of, as far as they want to take their apprenticeship. So
Well, that's
it's
fantastic.
it's a great way to become an electrician. And, once you're a licensed electrician, the world opens up to you.
Right, right. So if I started here, or somebody getting a job in a solar installer,
Mhm.
and they did 6 months, 12 months,
Mhm.
2 years, let's say, as an installer.
Sure.
Now, obviously, someone could just stay an installer
Yeah,
as long as
absolutely.
they want.
Mhm.
But what would be the next kind of advancement that somebody would take after that?
Yeah, so there's lots of different pathways within the company that you can take depending on your own personal interests, your own personal strengths. From install, you could go into design, you could go into project management, project coordinators, site auditors, install managers. There's just a world of jobs that are happening behind the scenes to make sure that these installs are getting done correctly. So, you may not see them the way that you have the visibility of the installers, but they're making sure that everything's happening.
Is it common or uncommon that you have folks that were in the field installing, and then maybe they transitioned into a sales or more of a support role?
Pretty
Is that-
common. Most of our movement in the company is internal shifts, either laterally or promotions. We don't frequently lose people, to other companies or anything like that. Typically, people just move around within our company.
Okay. So I'm going to take a glance at these comments and see if I'm missing anything. We talked a little bit about residential and commercial, and my apologies. I was probably trying to make sure we addressed comments and wasn't listening enough. But I think the main difference you had said between residential and commercial is the duration
Yeah, that
of,
pacing.
of time on a commercial installation.
Yeah.
One thing that is nice is most commercial installations, and not all, but they're put on a roof that is usually called a flat roof. So all roofs have somewhat of a pitch to them, but these are a lot less. So you're putting these panels in big long strips on rack systems, typically ballasted ones, meaning they're weighted, so you're not drilling holes in a roof. But you could be on that same site for a month, or you have
6 months.
Okay, so it could be really long time.
Yeah, we were on CSU for quite a while when we were putting solar all over CSU in Fort Collins. We were there for a majority of the year, I think.
That's outstanding. So
Yeah.
what I'm getting to is it's also transportation.
Yes.
So if you're doing, and let me just ask.
Sure.
If someone's getting a job as an installer, what do they need to have for transportation? What are the requirements you have for employment?
Yes. So we try to break down barriers as much as possible, but there are some things that we can't avoid. So we do really need people to have a valid driver's license in good standing, because we do need people to drive company vehicles. We need people to be able to, make that transportation happen from the warehouse. It's easier on the commercial team because you're meeting at the site. So if you're able to get yourself to the site, however that happens, then you're there. Getting to the warehouse in the morning is a little harder, and then somebody's got to drive the van. You don't want to make the same guy on your crew do it every time, because then he's not going to like that anymore. So having that flexibility of driver's licenses is important. Having your own vehicle is helpful. We do give all of our employees an RTD EcoPass, whether they're field or office, for the Denver metro area. So that'll get you in and around the Denver metro area for free with no restrictions on that. So that helps some people with transportation as well.
And the warehouse is right where we are. We're on 9th and Federal. So if I had a driver's license, but I didn't have a car, as long as I could get here,
If you can get
For
here by
work.
6 a.m., you're good to go.
because I might be using the company van or what have you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's fantastic. You did mention earlier you were felon friendly on a case by case basis. So
yeah.
obviously you do background checks and what have you, but you're not trying to put up those barriers.
Right.
Which,
Right.
Another thing I've got to commend the company for. You often are doing recruitment type of events that you say
Yes.
that you go to. Where has been the biggest draw that you think that is it schools? Is it just job fairs?
Yeah.
Where are you getting most of the people?
I would say IEC job fairs, the Independent Electrical Contractors of the Rocky Mountains. That is who we're partnered with, and we register our apprentices through their apprenticeship program so that they are registered apprentices through DORA. We cover 100% of IEC tuition for all of our installers, so we kind of have that partnership with them. So when we go to job fairs, people are already primed and ready to go looking for our table.
That's pretty cool. Now, within solar, there's two different types. You have solar power, obviously your residential, commercial. Then there is solar thermal systems where you're using these magic black panels to make water hot.
Yes.
Do you guys do any solar thermal type of stuff, or is it all solar power?
Not currently, but we see that the industry is starting to move in that direction, and it is a discussion that we've been having alongside storage. Storage options are becoming very, very popular, batteries and things of that nature. So, it's something that we're looking into. It's not something that we are actively doing right now.
Okay. I have a personal affinity towards solar thermal systems. I think it comes from being afraid of electricity, but not afraid of water. So there are differences in systems. There's completely different skill set between solar power and solar thermal systems. But if you are interested and have a plumbing background, there are solar systems. And what's interesting is our country here, we don't have a huge amount of them.
Yeah.
But you look in Europe, you look in different climates. I have a friend of mine that immigrated in from Israel, and you can't build a house there or a structure without having some solar thermal system. Now, don't fact check me on that. That was a statement he made. But the point being is that we can save a lot of our natural resources by preheating or creating shower water or creating heating systems with the sun as opposed to just electricity.
Absolutely. I mean, a fully off-grid house that can function on its own without, using any power from the grid is ideal, right? So, as much as we can electrify a house, that's perfect.
All right. So we've got 4 or 5 minutes.
Sure.
What can you tell people if they want to get a job in a solar installation and start there? Why Namaste versus somebody else?
Yeah. So, aside from us being an employee-owned company and a B Corp, we really focus a lot on investing in our people. That's our greatest asset. We want to propagate the responsible use of solar. And, part of that responsibility is our community and our people, right? We want to make sure that everybody has health insurance offered to them at a decent rate. If somebody is signing up for employee-only health insurance, we cover that at 82.5% of the premiums. We're paid on a weekly basis every Friday, which can help people a lot with finances and bills. Everybody starts out with PTO and it increases with tenure. We offer 20 hours of paid volunteer time per year for all of our employees as well. There's personal development funds. There's 8 designated holidays that the company has chosen that are just paid days off for you. There's opportunities for socializing and retreats, and we're a very close-knit company. So, coming in as a new person to the industry, there's a lot of opportunity for getting yourself established and being able to know that you have health insurance and paid time off, and that you're taken care of. That we provide workwear, we provide personal protective equipment, we provide power tools. You don't have to purchase anything to come in or to remain with us. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of our biggest sell.
So, employee-owned company. A B Corp, so you're definitely contributing back to the community because you're required to by rule, by law.
Yep.
I don't have to have my own tools.
Nope.
All I have to do is be able to get to the shop by 6 a.m., have a driver's license. You're going to train me. I get paid time off and I get health insurance. And I think you said 82.5% paid. See, I listen. Where's the bad stuff?
I don't know. I can't find it.
And I know I don't want to be cheesy and just saying this sounds too good to be true or what have you, but I can't stress enough to those of you that watching, working in construction is great. Working in green tech is really cool out of that. But working for a company that gives a crap about you, that's even better. So that I want to give you kudos for by being part of that team, by being a either current or soon to be owner, employee owner of the company. What else can we say to people that say, okay, come on, what do I do? How do I get there?
I mean, just apply. Apply. I'll be the person interviewing you. I'll talk to you. I'm really nice, I promise. I'll assess where you're at, and then we're looking to meet you where you're at. So we're not assessing it to say, oh, well, you don't have enough experience, you don't know enough about electrical work. We're assessing you to say, okay, where are you starting out so that we can meet you there and fill in those gaps in your knowledge.
I want to do it. So if you're still apprehensive about getting into a job, into construction or into solar, go to worknowlearn.org. You can create an account and learn about different jobs in green tech. You can work with a navigator and get an enrollment key which is just your passcode to get into a introduction to solar installation. And that's where we just cover the basics. We did it on a mock roof and little training panels with small panels, and we show how you'd install 2 or 3 of them. A solar system is just 20 of them, or 30 of them, or 300 of them, or a year at CSU putting them over all sorts of roof spaces. The process for a small system is the same as a larger system. But you can learn about that. There's also courses on there about building science. I mean, while I'm passionate about solar, I'm also more excited about when people can use less energy so you don't have to make as much power.
Yes.
Now, so there's building science classes that you can take in there. So our goal is that you can learn about jobs in green tech, about jobs in construction, reach out to Work Now and figure out how to have them help you, and then go and apply over at Namaste. So I got to appreciate the time. I'm looking out the window, thinking about solar and watching rain hit the window. So that's a little disappointing, but I think our conversation's been great. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. I love talking about it. If anybody has any further questions, I love talking about this. So please apply, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
You can always leave comments on this video also. There are people from Work Now that are watching those, looking at those comments, so we'll either respond directly there or on our next conversation, which we're doing a live stream from about EV charging stations and doing that with an apprentice training program. And the one after that, we're doing one about stormwater management. So on new construction sites, or even any construction site, on how you protect what we've got. So not only minimizing the use of natural resources, but also not ruining the land that we're currently building.
Right, yeah.
So a lot of cool things coming. Again, thank you very much.
Of
We're going to
course.
sign off.
Awesome.